And now it's time to recognize the 5 games nominated as the absolute best of 2017. The nominees for Game of the Year are Horizon Zero Dawn from Guerrilla Games and Sony Interactive Entertainment, Persona 5 from Atlas, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds from PUBG Corp,
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds doesn't deserve to win GOTY for 2017 nominating PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds terrible idea. I don't know if we deserve GOTY award.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds hasn't even been out a year, but in that time it's already sold over 20 million copies, making it the 31st most selling game of all time. This puts it ahead of titles like The Sims, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Vice City, and Super fucking Mario 3. It's won 7 Guinness World Records, surpassed the highest concurrent user amount on Steam, and has already inspired several ripoffs. In short, Battlegrounds is a worldwide phenomenon. But despite all of these achievements, when it was nominated for Game of the Year at this year's Game Awards, this was a common response.
You don't think Battlegrounds should be on the list?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not a finished game.
What does that matter? What does that matter?
Looking back at the Game Awards over the years, it is abundantly clear that this doesn't matter at all, and that nominees are frequently broken in one way or another. So why should Battlegrounds be snubbed?
This game is terrible. I can't stand this game.
Are 20 million people fucking stupid? Or is it the case that most games released are simply unfinished? Let's take a look at Mafia 3, a game that was praised for its story. This is what it looked like when you played it. Still got nominated. And then you had the opposite with Metal Gear Solid 5, which had a story mode so unfinished and convoluted you had to spend $100 on a Blu-ray just to see the real ending and realize you missed out on a mission where you got to shoot your own son. No! Street Fighter 5 notoriously launched with half the features just blurred out. Fallout 4 is a fucking mess.
I'm going to reach level 55, I believe it is.
And Red Dead Redemption was,
Into the wild blue yonder, Marston! Oh dear.
This is the second half of the argument I always hear.
By the time the game releases, a lot of games, when they're in open beta or early access, change some of their features quite dramatically by the time they come out, which makes it hard to judge them for Game of the Year contention.
And I mean, in a lot of ways, she's right. Battlegrounds is still in early access and it doesn't have all of its features yet. I mean, there's no vaulting. There's no Murderland. I can't bind crouch, jump, and shoot to the same button anymore. But in reality, this is the case with most games, and the game you bought at launch may not be the same game in a month, or even a day. And there are plenty of examples of this, both good and bad. Pokemon Go is probably the greatest mobile game ever created, but no one denies it used to be a goddamn nightmare to play. Remember when this trailer came out and it blew everybody's fucking mind? I mean, look at all these features we never got and probably never will get. In reality, Go launched as a buggy, broken, unplayable disaster with constantly crashing servers. But since then, Niantic has added an extraordinary amount of features, which have completely transformed the game. But, you know, I have to say from experience, no one has ever gotten this excited over a raid battle before.
The best mobile and handheld game, Pokemon Go.
Goddamn!
Speaking of content changing over time, few games do this as well as Overwatch. Overwatch has remained consistently fresh, with an ever-growing character roster, new maps, new play modes, and constant character balancing, which transforms useless heroes into something actually decent. Victory! We're at a point where games are expected to evolve over time, and community input directly alters a game's active development. Overwatch and games like it changed so much over time that the Game Awards added a new category, Best Ongoing Game. So, you know, get ready for Overwatch to win that award for the next 10 years. Battlegrounds may be buggy and obtuse, but it is stable. Yeah, sometimes your car spontaneously blows up in your stupid face, but all the core mechanics are there. And realistically, how much is the gameplay expected to change? A well-made game allows players to find continued success using the mechanics at hand, and some players who have pushed this game to its absolute limit are capable of winning again and again. Meanwhile, I'm 100 hours in and I still can't hit shit. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds falls right on the boundary between early access and full release, so much so that we should really reassess what early access even means. Calling a game early access usually gives it more leeway in terms of what we're willing to accept, but many games aren't finished during launch, and online games never will be. They're tweaked and retooled, and often offer completely different experiences mere months after launch, and Battlegrounds isn't any different. Is it as polished a game as Mario as Mario Odyssey? Breath. So whatever, let it have its nomination. Battlegrounds is a game loved by millions of people the world over, and that should qualify it enough. I can guarantee you, even if Battlegrounds wins Game of the Year, it won't be the worst part of the Game Awards.
Hydrobot!
Taking it to the next level!
That was sick! Hydrobot!